What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Ariana. I am a writer and author, a folklore enthusiast, person who loves to rant about things that matter to her. I'm just kind of here. So if you feel like my vibe is the vibe you're looking for, please make sure that you like and subscribe. It helps people find me. It helps me find cool people. It's kind of how we continue adding that spice of life. So thank you. This one is for those of you who have been here for a while and are curious as to what is going on with my book. For those of you who may have stumbled upon what's going on here and you kind of don't know what I'm talking about, just a quick background for the rest of you, just zip forward to the next chapter, wherever that is. I released a book back in 2020. And at the time, it was a nonfiction book about parenting. I was kind of in a different place then, but it was the first book I ever released. And I've been kind of hoping to release a fiction novel sometime here very soon. I have been writing since I was 6 years old. It has been probably one of the most important things in my life. I can't imagine myself not writing. And I have started countless novels over the years, and this one was the first one I finished. And it was a really cool experience because it was born out of wanting to write about things I like. And I was very excited to be doing that. I was working on getting it ready for publishing because this was going to be my trad publish debut. Ever since I was a kid, dreamed that I was going to be published traditionally. I was going to be on the shelves at Barnes and Noble. This was my dream. And it's been my dream since, like I said, since I was about 6 years old. So I have been working nonstop for the past few months, doing research on agents, making sure that my book was revised, putting it in front of beta readers, just doing everything to get it ready to be published. The one thing that I did not do is I didn't check word count. And so the day that I was going to start querying, I started to work on my query letter and found out that for most debut fiction authors, especially those in urban fiction, which is what my book is, they are expected to turn in a book that is no more than 115K words tops. And mine is 146,000 words. So as you can imagine, that day I was really struggling because I was like, I'm gonna have to cut a third of my book. This was supposed to be the start of my dream tomorrow, and it's not gonna happen now because how in the hell am I gonna cut a third of my book out? And then as I started to think about it, I started to wonder more and more why I would do that. Here's the thing. I want to make it very clear that I look up to every traditionally published author out there. I think that that is, it's not easy and that it's a different kind of track. But up until that day, I had been finding out more and more about the publishing industry that I wasn't sure I would like. For example, I was finding out that people were ready to write their next book and were being told by their publisher that they couldn't write their next book for like the next 2 years or indefinitely until they told them that it was okay to do so. I was hearing stories about people kind of having their royalties withheld for random reasons, people getting agented and then the agents not selling their book, but them not being allowed to do anything with their book for many years because they had to wait until they were out of their contract with the agent. And I was like, I'm not liking any of these things I'm hearing. I'm not liking it, but also this is the dream, right? Every writer wants to be traditionally published. They want their book out there on the shelf. So I was sure that that was what I was going to do until I started thinking about it. And I was just like, I don't know how many more ways the universe needs to tell me that I don't fit the publishing industry, at least as it is right now. I don't know how many more signs I need. I likened it to finding out that there was a job that I wanted to put in for, that I was excited to put in for forever. And I go in and I find out I need a PhD in physics. And instead of being like, well, that's not the job for me, then I decide that I'm going to sign up for a PhD in physics. Why? I feel like by finding out that that PhD was necessary, I don't need this job. And so that was what I kind of figured as I looked at that word count, is I was like, this is basically telling me that I am 46,000 too high in order to be published as a debut author. But that's all that means. That doesn't mean that I can't still be an author. I am already an independent author. It just means that it makes more sense for me to stay an independent author. By the end of that day, I had decided I was staying independent. And that means that there are some great things happening and some scary things happening. The great things are that I am fully in control of the length of my book. It gets to be as long or as short as I want it to be. It means that now I get to be a little bit closer to my audience. I was going to have to build it anyway, because a lot of people still operate under the belief that traditional publishing means that you will be marketed by that company, and they do not do your marketing. They expect you to do that for you. Do that for yourself, rather. So I was already going to have to market, but now I kind of get to market in my own way instead of having to market it in a way that maybe a company wants me to do. I can release when I want to release. And just being honest here, I will make more money per book sale, because when you are traditionally published, generally you wind up, even if you get an advance, the advance is not paid at once most of the time. And then after you receive that advance, once the books come out, you do not get paid until that advance is paid back. And then after that, you get pretty much a small amount of royalties per book. I think it's like 5 to 10%. And then don't forget that because you're agented, usually you also have to pay a certain percentage to your agent. So a lot of traditionally published writers, unless you are like Stephen King, you don't make a lot of money, actually. And I'm not saying that I'm going to be a billionaire doing this by myself, but at least it means that per book, I get more royalties that way. So those are the great things. I do still feel what I feel is an appropriate amount of fear, because now I am 100% responsible for everything. I am responsible for finding and paying an editor. I am responsible for finding and paying a cover artist, because I ain't paying AI to do shit. I'm in charge of my own writing schedule. And so my deadlines are all self-imposed, which for an ADHD woman can be difficult because I don't really have anything leaning on me with urgency. There's just a lot relying solely on me now, which means that if I fail, I have no one else to blame. And that's terrifying to me. It's so scary. But I want this, and I want it badly enough that I am willing to take that chance. So it's crazy, because essentially I am still going to be living my dream, right? I am still going to be an author. I mean, I am already an author, but I'm still going to be a fiction author. It's just I'm doing it on my own terms and I'm doing it in a different way, which is crazy. That does mean that there is going to be some monetization to the book beforehand. I actually have something happening in May. If you are interested in that, make sure that you join my newsletter or just keep following the channel. And eventually I will tell you guys what I'm planning on doing in May to make it so that some of you will get to read the book ahead of time. And I'm just going to continue working. The really cool thing is that also, I haven't told anybody else this yet, but the book is going to be the first of a series. And so now I'm already starting to work on book 2, and I don't have anybody telling me not to, which is amazing. So I'm really, really excited to see where the future takes me and what happens with this. And I'm scared. I'm just excited and scared. I'm really looking forward to things. So that is the book update for now. That's where the book is it's no longer in hell waiting for, I guess I should say, or limbo, waiting for me to pick an agent. It's no longer just hanging out somewhere. It's coming. And it will be released to some people starting in May. And then hopefully I will have the actual thing out in spring of 2027. So big things happening over here. If you have any other questions about this or want to talk to me about it, that would be awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to tell you guys more, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.